In this lesson, we're gonna learn how to add Google Maps to our React Native app. Just in Google, search for React Native Maps and select this first option. And press on Installation Instructions here. Now scroll down. First, you need to install the package. You can use npm or yarn. We're gonna use yarn because it's faster. So in the terminal of project, just paste this command, yarn add React Native Maps. You have to take care of this warning. Before you can start using Google Maps platform APIs and SDKs, you must sign up and create a billing account. I'm gonna show you later. Because we install the package, we need to run this for iOS only. So let's go to iOS folder and run the bot install like this. These are all documentations. They ask you for changing app-delegate.m, but now we are using Swift, not Objective-C. So do the following with me. Just copy this code here and go to VS Code and open iOS shadapp app-delegate.swift and just paste this line here, but with these changes. Just remove this and remove this also. And also copy this line. So let's copy it and paste it here. And we're gonna need to add our API key. I'm gonna show you how to generate it, but it's not free. Now let's scroll down and add those two lines also in both file. And since we're gonna add them to both files, we need to run bot install again. So in bot file, let's add those two lines. Bot React Native Maps. And we need to run bot install again, bot install, and press enter. Now let's scroll down. We're done with iOS. It's time for Android. For Android, just copy those two lines of code and go to our Android app src manifest. So here, go to our Android app src main Android manifest. Oops, this file, Android manifest. And just you need to add it where between the application tag. So here we got here the application tag. Just paste them here like this. But also we need to add our Google Maps API key here. Now it's time to go to our Google Cloud Console. We're done with Android and iOS, but we need to add the key. Without this key, our app is not gonna work. So here, let's go for Google Cloud Console and select this first option. I created an account. You just need to create your account. Let's press on start free, but he also will ask you for billing. Now let's press agree and continue. He asks you for payment method and payment profile. Let's press on start free. He's gonna ask you, you cannot using the Google Maps without it, like here in documentations. Look. Warning, before you can start using Google Maps platform APIs and SDKs, you must need to sign up and create a billing account. When you create a billing account, you're gonna see something like this. Cloud. You're gonna see something like this. Just select a project or create new project and press on APIs and services. Then you're gonna press on enable API and services. And you need to enable those two. Maps SDK for Android and Maps SDK for iOS. You need to enable them to use Google Maps inside them both. And when you press on any one of them, just press enable. And when you enable it, you're gonna get the key. The key is a string with numbers and letters. But to enable it, you need a billing account. Okay? Now, after enabling it and getting the key, you need to pass the key inside Android manifest and Swift here. So you're gonna go to Google Cloud Console and get the key, copy it and paste it here. Now let's go to our Android manifest and also get the Android key and paste it here. And now let's run our app. So cd ... and yarn Android and yarn iOS. Now this lesson was for integration. Next lesson we're gonna type JavaScript code. But first, before I end this video, let's double check that our build is gonna run success, not fail. because we are linking a new native package. so build may fail. So let's check our build is success. As I expected, we got here an error. I think it's simulator error. Let's write edit devices. We got here an emulator. Let's run it again. Yarn Android. And if it didn't work, we need to clean the Gradle. Now, we've run our app successful for Android. Let's run for iOS, yarn iOS, and double check that everything is working in iOS. It failed for the first time because I think I was having an issue with my emulator or something. Our build failed in iOS also, but why? Let me double check. We got here apps Udemy expected this comma separator, and we cannot provide API key in scope. So let's double check inside our here is the what I've just typed, and let's check the documentations. Here is the documentations. If we scroll down, I just copy it and paste it, but what's the issue? I know what's the issue, because we are handling Swift code, not Objective-C code. So instead of this code here, we'll just type this. We're gonna just make it GMSS services dot provided API key like this, and open a tag and just copy the key like this and paste it here. As simple as this. Now let's rerun our app again. So here, yarn iOS to see our app. And sorry for this mistake. That was for only because React Native switched to Swift, not Objective-C. So sorry for this mistake. And here, it's not my fault, it's the documentation's fault. They need to update those documentations. Now let's wait until our build is ready and run successfully. Great, now our build is success. And I'm happy because we have this error together. Now after integration with Android and iOS, it's time to write some JavaScript code. So here, inside our folders, open src inside lessons. Let's create a new lesson and name it Google Map.tsx. And it's gonna be a functional component, rnf-es. And we're gonna just render map view. And you can import this map view from React Native Google Maps. Okay? And inside map view, let's give it this style. So style equals to styles.map view. Okay? And let's initialize this style down here, map view. Let's make it Felix of 1 to fill all the screen. And if we go to our app.tsx, we just need to render Google Map from lessons, from src lessons Google Map. Okay? Now let's see how it looks in emulator. Here's in Android. And here's in iOS. If you notice here, you're gonna see in Android we got Google Maps, but in iOS we got iOS Map. How to make them both use Google Maps? You can just add this property provider, and this provider is gonna be provider Google. Just import it from React Native Google Maps and press save. Now let's double check. Now here in iOS we are using Google Maps, and in Android also we are using Google Maps. Now let's add a region property. Now what if you want to start your map with a specific place? I mean specific region. You have to add this property, region. And to add region you need to add those 4 properties. Latitude, longitude, latitude delta, longitude delta. What are those properties? I'm gonna tell you. Latitude and longitude, this to define the center of the map. And those values represent the geographical coordinates in decimal degrees. Decimal degrees with numbers, okay? This latitude is referred to north to south position. north to south, and this longitude from east to west position. For example, if you just open Google Maps, so if we just type here Google Maps, okay, and open it and select any region that you want. For example, let's select this place here, Cairo, and right click. You can get those two numbers. Those are the longitude and latitude. Just copy them like this and go to code. Here's the latitude and the second number is longitude. Okay, let's comment those two values for now, the delta, and press save to see. Now look, if you see here, we got here the latitude and longitude of Cairo. Look, of Cairo. I don't know why it didn't work in Android. Maybe because I add the delta first. For this delta, this to control the zoom level of the map. This latitude delta for vertical zoom, and this longitude delta for horizontal zoom. And we can add a medium zoom for this. For example, latitude delta, we can make it 0.015 like this. And for longitude delta, we can make it 0.0121. There is just to add medium zoom. Now let's press save and try to test again. I don't know why it didn't work in Android. Maybe it needs to reload the app. Let's reload. What's wrong with Android? Let us check together. But now here's the latitude and longitude work in iOS. Let's try to select another place. For example, let's go to Google Maps and let's, for example, go to Germany, for example. So let's go to Germany, to Berlin, and let's get this latitude and longitude. So let's copy it, and go here. Those are the latitude and longitude. Let's copy the lat and paste it here, and let's copy the long and paste it here. Now let's press save. Now look, we are in iOS. We are in Berlin in iOS, in Berlin. But in Android, I don't know why it didn't work until yet. Let's reload. Let's try to increase the zoom using latitude and longitude. For example, let's try to decrease the zoom using latitude delta and longitude delta. For example, let's make it 0.1 and here also 0.1. And to see, let's reload. Now, if you notice, in Android it didn't work. I don't know why. Let me check it later. But in iOS, it works. So if you haven't noticed, the zoom is decreased. Let's try to decrease it more. So let's make this 0.1. Let's make it 1 and press save. Now look, we are here in Berlin. Now what's the issue for Android? Let's try to rebuild our app again. So yarn Android. It maybe worked. When I run the app again, it worked. Let's try to, for example, decrease the zoom. Let's make it 0.5 and press save. Look, it works also. Let's try to make it 0.1. Look, it worked. So let's return it to 0.5. And now let's just type a couple of comments here to make you remember what are those properties do. For example, this first line here, latitude, there is for north-south position. And this longitude for west-east position. And this is for vertical zoom, and this is for horizontal zoom. Okay, next lesson we're gonna learn how to add a marker. In this lesson, we're gonna learn how to add a marker to our map view. We need to add a marker here. To add marker, you can use the marker component. So add marker, just import it from React Native Maps. As simple as this. And this marker, you need to add it the latitude and longitude. So let's add this property, coordinate And inside it, for example, let's add those positions, latitude and longitude, to see. Now let's press save and see our app. Let's make our app here. Let's reload it. Now here's our marker. If you want to add to it a label and description, you can use those two properties. The title, let's make it my city, and description, here I live, for example. Now if you see this marker, look, we got here my city and here I live. So you can use those two properties. Now let's try to add another marker. So let's copy this code and paste it here. And let's make it my friend city. And the description, here friend live. Here my friend lives. Like this. And now let's try to change the latitude and longitude. So this changed for north to south position. So let us see what if I decrease this number. Look, for example, let's make it 6. 52.6. Look, it got to the top. What if I decrease it later and make it 4? Look, it become to the down here. Let's return it to 5. So this latitude for north to south position, as I've told you, you can think of it as the vertical. Okay, now this longitude for east and west, let's try to decrease it. For example, let's make it 13.2. Look, it moves to the left. Let's make it 13.35. Look, it moves to the right. And if you press on it, my friend city, and here my city. And let's check Android. I don't know what's wrong with Android. I think we need to rerun a game. Yarn Android. I think it's a bug or issue in this package or something. Now look, it worked. I would like to mention two things. The first thing, you don't need to rerun your app when you make this GS code. I don't know, it's maybe issue with the package, it may be issue with the emulator, I don't know, but you don't need to rerun your app to see the changes, because we're not typing native code, we are just typing JavaScript code. And if you notice iOS, the change is done. Look, hot reload works, but in Android I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay, that was the first thing. The second thing I would like to mention, this latitude and longitude, there are shortcuts for them. For example, you can see from other resources, the shortcut for this is lat, and the shortcut for this is lang, like this. So if you see LAT and LNG, you have to know that this LAT refers to latitude and this LNG refers to longitude. Okay,